This is the guys that are watching you. We're watching you. Keep your eyes open.
Hey friends, Sean from SGT Report here with a very important update. First, I just want to say something about this Steve Bannon situation. How preposterous. The man is either a traitor or he's completely insane because, number one, if he's telling the truth and he believes there was treasonous activities taking place in the Trump administration while he worked for the Trump administration, if he had any integrity at all, he should have stopped working for them at that point and gone public. And of course, President Trump is disavowing Steve Bannon, and it all begs the question, did someone get to Steve Bannon? Was he bought? Was he paid to say these things? Because today, the Trump legal team is moving against the author of the book himself, Michael Wolff, who has sent a cease and desist legal notice threatening possible charges including libel in connection with the forthcoming book titled Fire and Fury Inside the Trump White House. The order is to immediately cease and desist from any further publication, release, or dissemination of the book, because evidently in one excerpt which has been released, Bannon described the 2016 meeting between Donald Trump Jr. and a group of Russians as treasonous and, quote, unpatriotic, and he claims there was zero chance that the president was not aware of the meeting. I'll tell you what has my blood boiling about all of this. We know where the real treason has come from, and we're going to get to more of that in a second, but let's cite the fact that we now know about the Fusion GPS fake dossier. We know about Clinton funding the dossier. We know about the Uranium One deal, which is actual hardcore treason involving Clinton specifically and the Russians. We know about the DNC criminality, stealing the primary from Bernie Sanders. We know about Debbie Wasserman Schultz's hardcore crimes, and we're going to get to more of those in a second. But the fact of the matter is that this treacherous Steve Bannon has now given the Mockingbird mainstream media yet more ammunition to spend the next year talking about this he said, she said nonsense, as opposed to focusing on the hardcore quantifiable facts of FBI corruption, of Comey covering up for Clinton's crimes, of Uranium One, of Fusion GPS, of all of it. The Clinton Foundation fraud, which Charles Ortel speaks about endlessly.
There's been so much conspiracy going on that I think the American public is now in a place where we need to rise up and demand equal treatment when the Clintons continue to perpetrate a fraud that I believe on the books exceeds $2 billion. But if you consider all the affiliates, you're up in hundreds of billions, maybe trillions of dollars. Donald Trump and the Justice Department, the IRS, the FBI need to do their work. They need to focus on this. They need to bring indictments. They need to win convictions. They need to get restitution. And the Clintons have been front and center at this. They've named this charity after themselves and their daughter. There cannot be a double standard.
It's enough to make you want to step off this crazy planet altogether, but we're going to keep focusing on the hardcore criminals, like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who is being pointed at directly and explicitly by Jerome Corsi and QAnon as being responsible for ordering the hit on Seth Rich.
QAnon just directly says Debbie Wasserman Schultz put out a 187, which is a kill job, on Seth Rich.
We're going to stay directly over that story, and we're going to make sure it gets spread far and wide, because Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Hillary Clinton and John Podesta and his brother Tony Podesta are hardcore criminals, and they need to be brought to justice. And Trump's new executive order allowing him to target people who have profited from human rights abuses, that's pedophilia, guys. That's child sex trafficking. And we know that Trump and people like Representative Steve Scalise know it because Scalise made that PSA about human trafficking.
The sad truth is that human trafficking is a real problem plaguing each and every community here in the United States. Enough is enough.
Calling it a problem, an epidemic, in every city across the nation. And shortly thereafter, a would-be assassin tried to take his life. Now, you know what happens to those of us who are pointing the fingers at these hardcore satanic pedophiles? I'm going to play a soundbite for you right now. This is from Melissa, our friend the Honeybee. You can find her on Twitter at the Honeybee. I've interviewed her before, and she has dedicated much of her life to exposing these elite satanic pedophiles. You know what happens to those of us who continue to report about the crimes of the elite? Listen to this call that Honeybee just received.
Hello? Hello?
Hello? Hello there. Hello?
Hi.
We're the ones with the eyes upon you. This is the eyes that are watching you. We're watching you.
I'm sure you are, and I'm watching you.
Keep your eyes open.
All right, you can threaten me all you want. You can threaten me all you want. But I'm not going to stop what I'm doing.
Well, what did you do? Because you're in trouble. Well. Hello?
Well, what?
See those eyes peeking at you? That's me.
Friends, if that doesn't outrage you, I'm not sure what will. And Honeybee, I want you to know we're there for you. Humanity is rising, the people are waking up, and the tipping point will be reached when all of our friends, our neighbors, and our colleagues are well informed of the fact that the CIA and elite, satanic, powerful people traffic in children. It's part of their religion. And yes, it's completely satanic. And we're going to continue to try to compel President Trump through Twitter, where he's actually accessible, to enforce the rule of law and to use that executive order he signed to freeze the assets of these monsters. Because these people, these traitors, and these pedophiles need to be brought to justice. Please visit Twitter, guys. Follow me at SGT Report. Follow my friend at Liz Crokin. Follow my friend at Honeybee. Follow all of the great people that we know in the truth media on Twitter and on YouTube, because together we are making change, and we are the antidote to the corporate propaganda and the horror media as exemplified by CNN, The Washington Post, and the New York Times. Thanks so much for tuning in. God bless. And for real news 24/7, please visit us at sgtreport.com.
It's SRA, so that's the satanic ritualistic abuse of children. So it's not just engaging in sex with these kids; they're involved in satanic abuse. They torture them and they abuse them in satanic rituals, and they believe that they are, channeling these like dark forces, these evil forces, and it gives them power.